I was dating a nice Jewish boy.
Right? Things not working here. Oh, that was just the wrong button. Today, all about buttons. Hidden love. That sounds like an oxymoron. Love is something very expressive. So much so that when you really feel love, your hands get involved, right? Many cultures are very animated with their passion, with their love that they express with hands and so on. So how could love be hidden? Hmm, that's a good question. There's basically two paths in life, a short one and a long one. Short one is short because it's accessible. It's there. You just have to find it. A long path means because you've got to create it. So why would you want to create a long path to get somewhere when you can have the short path? Because the short path, you don't own it. The path was made for you. The long path, you created it. You, you know, in the forest with your machete, made the path and you got through to the light of day. And there's something to be said about that, you created the path. You created your path, your connection. There's definitely something very profound and beautiful about that. Welcome to Tanya today. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine, coming to you from Chabad Zichron Kadesh in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya. We begin a new section. Chapter 18 through 25 is about a new path in our connection to God, as opposed to chapters 9 through 17 as a path that was a lengthy path. Why was it lengthy? Because to use your mind to bring a feeling in the heart towards the divine, it's a lengthy path. Got to learn a lot, got to know a lot. And it's not easy. But the beauty in the long path is you own it. When you understand well the truth of God, the reality of God in creation, and you understand God within creation, God beyond creation, as we study in Hasidus, and you meditate and contemplate upon that, you own that. No one can give you knowledge till you, you yourself engage in the knowledge, right? No one can give it to you. You have to learn it, know it, and own it in the sense that it becomes your your reality. That's a long path. Now we're going to learn the short path. The short path. That's very, very close to us because it's short. What is that? Stay tuned. Stay tuned and we'll get an understanding. So Alter Rebbe begins chapter 18 to say that in the title page, that one verse that these 53 chapters is based on, from Devarim, from Deuteronomy, for this relationship, this connection to God is not just close, but very close. So we're going to emphasize here very close. Till now, we spoke about close. That's the path that you created through the knowing and knowledge of God that brings you to the mind having dominion over the heart and bringing you to at least a intellectual love of God. An intellectual love of God, not just intellectual awareness, but love or an understanding heart. It'll bring you to. Now, the Alter Rebbe says, yeah, but that's not very close. The verse says very close. How could that be very close? Not all of us, first of all, have learned sufficiently to know anything about God. Belief, we're not talking about belief in God. We're talking about an awareness, a knowledge of God. How many of us have learned sufficiently that we could think for 1 minute about God, 10 minutes about God? The Alter Rebbe's Chassidim were able to think hours about God and developed a very real, authentic connection, not just in mind, but in heart. I don't have that capability. We don't have that capability of what the Alter Rebbe's Chassidim were capable of doing. And even in his Chassidim, not everybody was able to do this. But the verse says that it's very close. And we all don't have a sufficient mind and an understanding to make God very close to me, to make the relationship real, authentic, and meaningful. Right. That it should be with absolute sincerity, with love and awe of God. Even if it was just tfunas ava, an intellectual love. But all of us are not capable of thinking about God, meditating upon God sufficiently that we should produce this kind of reality for ourselves. And yet the verse says very close. So the Alter Rebbe is dividing. What we learned till now was close, but that was a long path. Why was it long? Is because, yes, you have to learn a lot. You have to know a lot in order that you could think, meditate upon, in order to produce a true feeling towards God, even if it's just intellectual love and understanding heart. But now we're going to emphasize how it's very close. This is the short path. And it's based on what we call Ava Misuteris, the hidden love, which of course is an oxymoron. Love, by the way we have defined or understood till now, is something expressive. Well, especially when you use your mind, your understanding, your bina, and that will be the key, through your understanding of bina, of a mind, of the understanding of God, that will produce then a feeling towards God, at least a feeling enough that we will act towards God to do something that he wants us to do, his mitzvah. All right? But now we're going to speak about a different path. It's a hidden love. And it's in the heart of every Jew, this hidden love. Not because you did something, but because ultimately you are something, as we will explain. And really where it comes from is an inheritance from our patriarchs. Our patriarchs, right? There's an inheritance from our patriarchs. And that's what defines us as a Jew, as we will see. This is a definition here. We're going to have what a Jew is. It's an inheritance from our patriarchs, and that's not something we create, just parenthetically, not that it's not here in Tanya, of course, other faiths and religions, it's what you believe that makes you a part of a religion, right? If you believe in so and so, you become now a member of that faith group. You throw your lot with a faith group. Oh, so you're part of it. That's not what defines a Jew, as we will see. Right. And that's unique. There is no other people that define themselves in this manner, as we will see. All right. But we need to first understand. We're going to ask, the Alter Rebbe is going to ask 4 things here that we need to understand in what we speak about the hidden love, the Ava Miseteris, right? First, we need to understand what's the origin of this love? Where's it come from? Where's it come from within my soul? Where's it come from above? The other form of love that we spoke about, chapters 9 through 17, as I just actually mentioned, it comes from Bina, from understanding. The more you have an understanding of your beloved, the more you love your beloved, right? Just in human relations. The more you really understand another in a good way, in a healthy way, not in a critical way, but in a good way, the more you love them, right? Differences, of course, with a beloved, there's things that, that we all have our good stuff and the stuff that's maybe not the greatest, right? By God, obviously, it's not that way. It's only good and better. In any case, so that's where that form of love comes from. It's from Bina, from understanding. That's from within the origin of love, where it stems from the soul, right? And the second thing we need to understand is what's the character quality of this love? Now, the previous love that we spoke about is, again, through understanding. And when you understand about how great someone is, how amazing they are, what does that do? It produces a feeling of love inside of you. That's its character quality, that you want to connect. You want to connect to them. So what's the character quality of this love that we're talking about that's the hidden love? How does it express itself? In what manner? What is it like? What is its desire? What's it striving for, right? And the third question is, how could this be an inheritance? We made that statement that this love that we're talking about, right, of the hidden love, is an inheritance. You don't inherit love. Well, if I love Tanya, doesn't mean my children will love Tanya. Doesn't mean that, right? We inherit character qualities, but we don't inherit a love for something. But this is called an inheritance. Why? And the fourth question is, how does reference slash awe fit in with this love? Speaking about a hidden love, but as we know, the flip side of love is reverence slash awe, or called the fear of God, if you will. A fear of punishment that we've mentioned many times. But how does that fit in over here? How does that make sense to us? Okay. So the matter is as follows. The patriarchs, we're going to explain now an inheritance. I'm going to explain 2 things here. The concept of inheritance, the concept of the origin of this love. The other 2 questions, the character quality of the love, and how reverence slash awe fits in with this will be in the following chapter, not in this chapter. So he explains the patriarchs, they were what we call a chariot to God, meaning they were completely bottled, nullified, no will of their own, but directed solely by the will of God. Right? Just like the chariot is directed solely by its driver. Who were the patriarchs' driver? God Almighty. And that's the only thing that drove them. The only thing that made them want was what God wanted. They were completely nullified there. Because of their greatness, they merited, and that's the key over here, the privilege of drawing down to their descendants, Jewish people, right? A nefesh, ruach, and neshama, a divine soul of these three levels of the soul, of 10 holy spheres from the worlds, from the 4 different worlds, that each soul emerges from a different level, different world, different attribute of the divine from that world, including the most unworthy and sinful Jew. They gave to them, because of the merit of the patriarchs, so their descendants, again, even the most sinful Jew, has a soul, a Jewish soul, that defines them. And that Jewish soul, even though it may come from the lowest of the worlds, in the lowest level, yet inside of it, enclosed in that soul, is what we call Chachma of Atzilus. Chachma, we translate it as wisdom, as opposed to Bina as understanding. Right? So the origin of this love is Chachma of Atzilus. So even though there might be many layers covering over on this soul, as it comes down to become in a body, and even before the body, it has, different layers from the world, the lowest world of Asiya, the world of action. So it might be such a low-level soul, but yet garbed in it is the highest level of Chachma of Atzilus. Now, Atzilus is the highest world, the world of emanation, not a world of creation. So it's garbed with this divine wisdom. Now, what's so important about this divine wisdom? It's the first of the 10 divine attributes. And what's important about it is something unique, which we'll learn about, not today, the quality of it, but it is a vessel, it's a container for the Or Ein Sof, for the infinite light of God. And that's the key. That's what defines the Jew. Chachma of the soul, that is a vessel for the infinite light of God. Now, that doesn't mean that the infinite light of God is revealed in that soul, right? What it does mean it's what defines the soul. We'll learn more about that. And define, revealed, right? So the key, though, over here, it doesn't matter what kind of Jew it is, they're defined as a Jew because of this chachma level of the divine, that is a vessel, that is a container for the infinite light of God. So therefore, even when a Jew is sinning, that is still what defines them, right? Even it defines them. That cannot be something you rid yourself of. You may not be expressing it, maybe expressing the complete opposite. of complete connection. But it doesn't eradicate that defining part of me. So whether I'm a great sage, Moses, the Alter Rebbe himself, right, our teacher, our Rebbe, who are lofty, lofty souls, they've revealed that in them. They've revealed, right, just as the patriarchs did, because patriarchs, what do we call them? We called them a vehicle, a chariot, a vehicle that is completely ridden by its rider, God Almighty. So they express it totally. But it doesn't mean that it's not, but they're equally defined by it as the sinner. No distinction. That's what it means, that it is an inheritance. It's not something you create, it's something given. So it's God that gives it to the Jew. Because of the devotion of the patriarchs, so their descendants get it as a result. It's very powerful. Very powerful. I have any questions on that? More, we need to understand more of the quality of it. Will allow being in tomorrow's class. A reminder tonight, 6:30, Torah studies, 8 p.m. will be TRC, Tanya Rabbi community. Should I invite anybody who wants to join? Tanya, it's your father's Hebrew birthday on the 26th. All right, beautiful. Okay. I don't see any questions. I hope there's clarity then. Naomi, I think I saw you. I don't know if you're still here. Welcome. Okay. So, folks, this is very close to us. So stay tuned so we can learn how we can find the inner truth that's in us. That's in us, which is amazing and beautiful. Amazing and beautiful. All right. Rambam coming up. I'm Rabbi Ronnie Fine coming to you from Chabad Zich in Kadesh in Montreal, Canada, where it's a privilege and a pleasure to share with you the Tanya.